Hello, this is the first video in a series of micro lessons covering the basics of the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office new JMS software. We will be covering logging into the program and explaining the opening menus and navigation in today's lesson. First, locate the Odyssey Navigator icon on your desktop. You see mine in the middle of my screen. Double-click. It will open this window. In the upper left-hand corner, you will see 3 rings and some text to the right of the rings. Yours may say Select Partition. Click on either that text or the 3 rings and select the correct environment. For our purposes today, we'll be logging into the test environment. After go live on March 27th, you will be using the production environment, so click on Prod when appropriate. Your login will be your Windows authenticated password and username. The same password and username you use to log into the computer on your Sedgwick County computer. As your window uploads, you will see a large tiled area in the middle with videos for the Enterprise Justice tutorial system. You can watch these videos at your convenience. They provide some insight into the different areas of the software. In the upper left-hand corner, you will see Menu, the menu bar. The menu, when you click on Menu, gives you a search box that acts like a Google search on any other web service. This search box searches the areas to the right, the Add, Find, Reports, Tools, and Configure menus. If you have a hard time finding an item that you're looking for, Menu is a good place to start to look for it. To the right of Menu, you see Add. Primarily, this will be used by our bookers when adding new jailing records upon arrest. To the right of that is Find. The Find is how you will locate jailing records, party records, as well as history of what you've searched in the system. Reports is to the right of Find. Here you'll see a list of reports, some that are created by the system, as well as a section called Custom Reports that were created by our tech staff, specifically for Odyssey, transferred from Atom. To the right of Reports, on the menu bar, you will see Tools. This is a collection of applications inside the software that gathers information, making it easier to conduct different tasks in the software. The last item in the menu bar is Configure. Most people will not spend much time in configuration, but there are some settings in there that may be helpful for some users. I'm going to click the X to get back to my main menu. Going down the left-hand side, you see a list of icons, tasks, favorites, job history, as well as system messages. To the right of that, you see a window displaying the same icon words. Favorites, after you enter favorites or import a list, will provide an easy way of navigating the system and is customizable for each user. Tasks are items that will be used inside the facility to route different activities to different users. Jobs and messages are very similar in that they will pull up a history of processes, reports, and forms that you've created in the system. To the right of that, you see What's New. That is that menu with the tiles of videos. This is the active screen section in Odyssey. And anytime you're looking up a jailing record, party record, or any other info, it will display in this main area. To the right of that is the active screen tabs. Currently, it is displayed as What's New is the active tab. As you continue to work through the system, there'll be additional tiles or records that will list below What's New. That gives you a similar breadcrumb trail to where you've been in the system. You can navigate between those by clicking on the individual text, or when they are unneeded, you can close them out by clicking an X to the right. The final area on this initial introduction is the top right corner. The first icon is a toggle left panel. I recommend all users clicking the toggle left panel. That creates a larger workspace in the middle to display all records. It'll prevent you from having to scroll from right to left and limit scrolling from up and down. To the right of that is Workspace Tools. In the Workspace Tools, you will find different preferences and settings, including printer setup. To the right of that is similar things to what you see in a web window. You have the full screen, minimize, restore, as well as close options. Those operate the same way as they do in a web server. This will conclude our first lesson in a series of micro lessons on our new JMS system. Look forward to new and upcoming videos on how to find jailings and additional information. Hello, this is lesson 2 in a series of micro lessons on the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be looking at how to find an active jailing record, which would be any person who is in custody. On the menu bar, navigate to the third option, which is Find. Click on that option. Down the left-hand side, it gives you a series of options. First is History, which allows you to look at the previous 20 records that you have accessed in this system on this computer. Traveling down, most people will have Jailing and Party as the additional options. A jailing record is an individual instance of an individual being in custody. So anytime you are looking for a specific time an individual was in custody, you will be looking for a jailing record. The party record is a record of everything dealing with a specific individual, including all previous jailings. Today, we're going to be looking at searching for a jailing. So from that Find menu, we will select Jailing. This brings up a simple search section where you can enter a booking number, last name, first name, and additional identifiers below. I'm going to recommend that everybody go to the middle section under Quick Links and select Use Advanced Search. This gives you some additional search options and info that you can enter, as well as requires less from you in the search. In a simple search, you would have to enter full last name and first name information or parts thereof with wildcards. On this menu, on the advanced search, you can search by last name only in addition to the simple search options. On the search for party information, you can use SoundX, which allows you to search for names that sound similar, or if you're not quite sure of the spelling. I'm going to uncheck this because I would like to do a wildcard search. A wildcard search is a search requiring the first 3 letters minimum of a last name, followed by an asterisk or shift and the number 8. From there, you can enter first name information, any additional information if you have it. But I'm just going to search for COS with an asterisk and hit enter. This takes me to a specific jailing record since there is only one matching that criteria. Again, the wildcard basically finishes the last name if you know the first 3 letters. I'm going to hit exit and go back. Similarly, if I search for the last name Smith, which would populate quite a few results, and then I use J for the first name and use a wildcard or that star asterisk and hit enter, this will pull up 6 records. I'm currently only searching active jailings, so this will pull up active people who are booked into our system. Currently, you see that it also searches AKAs or aliases, as well as the main party name. In order to enter those records, you can click on the J number to get to the jailing, or the name to get to the party record. I'm going to again hit exit to go back to my original search. I'm going to hit advanced search. In this area, you also are able to search by social security number, FBI number, or any other ID numbers that you have. Understand that the more information you put in, the more it will limit the records that you find. If there is a mistyped entry, all of the entries that you have put into the search will be searched against the entire record. If something does not match, it will not pull that record. You can also search by last name only and just hit enter or submit in the bottom right hand, and it will pull up a jailing record. This will conclude our second micro lesson. This is lesson 3 in a series of micro lessons for the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be discussing the jailing record. A jailing record is an individual record about a specific incarceration for an individual. A jailing record is easily seen in the active screen tabs column on the right by their J number. The J number shows that you are on a jailing record. This jailing record has a multitude of information about this incarceration for an inmate. On the first tab, the summary tab, it gives you basic information, including demographics, aliases, arrest date, book date, and cell location. The summary tab will also show active charges, some notes, as well as flags. Moving to the right at the top of the jailing record, we'll go to the detail tab. The detail tab is a little bit more information than the summary tab, including areas where you can add religion, cell assignment, classifications, and view the booking checklist. If you have the rights for these items, you will see a plus sign at the end of a category. Continuing, we'll look at the charges tab. Charges tab gives you full information about the individual charges that an inmate is currently incarcerated for. If a charge is in black, it shows that that charge is no longer active. And if you scroll to the right, it shows that this charge on this record was dismissed on February 14th. You'll also see bond information, bond type, charge description, and if you see the scales of justice, that shows that it has received magistration or some form of judicial review. The red charges, those are active charges still pending in our system. You can scroll in this area, and at the top of each section, it shows an arrest. When a new arrest report is filed, a new arrest is captured, showing the J number with an asterisk and then a number. The first one entered will be number 1. That was entered on January 6th. There are 2 more arrests on this record, one on January 9th, also by Sedgwick County, and one on February 14th by Derby. This information gives you a quick idea of what has progressed in this inmate's incarceration. At the bottom, there is hold information. If another agency has a hold that will require transport or inability to bond, this information will be at the bottom. Continuing to the right in our tabs at the top, jail time. This will show how much time an individual has served on each charge, as well as sentencing information if one exists. Days to serve and sentence release date give you the number of days remaining in a sentence, as well as the estimated release date. Moving on to cell checks. Cell checks is a brief overview of the type of close observation or watch that an inmate may be on. On this one, you see that he is on a suicide watch. Below the close observation type, you will see the cell checks that have been conducted on this record. It will give a brief description of the behavior that has been logged, as well as any comments, if any exist. The contacts tab is where we will track any approved visitations by parole officers, attorneys, anything like that on this specific jail. Parties, we have the ability to list attorneys or any special connections that we need to track in our system. Separations is where in the new JMS software we will be tracking any individuals that we need to keep apart in our facility and the reasons that they are separated. The property tab will be used to track the inmate's property. We have the ability to list booking property in booking lockers when they first come in. After they are moved upstairs to housing, that property will be relocated to the property cage in an appropriate bin. Seized property will also be located in that same bin. If an inmate has any hearings or any upcoming court dates that we know about from updates from court, these will appear on the hearings tab. It'll show the date, time, as well as the case number for those hearings. Just to the right of that, we have the incidents tab. The incidents tab is where we will track any disciplinary history, as well as any incidents, including medical items, on this individual jailing record. The incident information is tracked at the top in the incident section, while as the disciplines that have been issued for this inmate will be at the bottom under the discipline section. It will show the start date and end date of any discipline that has been imposed. The tracking tab will show any movement within the facility, including going to the clinic, chapel, any other location as assigned by jailing staff. The activity log is an individual record of things that have been logged on an inmate. This can include diet information, if a provis was completed, any individual items that are noted on a specific jailing record. The notes tab gives us a location to track any specific information that we need to record on an inmate and route it to the appropriate folks before an item is completed. We have the ability to add notes that route to release so that they pop up before release to allow the releasing staff to know of any items of concern or any actions that need to be taken before release. We can also route to classification to ensure that the classification corporal has enough information to make an appropriate classification decision. The programs tab will show any programs that this inmate is enrolled in or scheduled for. The last of the main tabs will be the documents tab. This tab is driven by rights. All staff will have the ability to view mugshots by clicking on a mugshot picture or the icon, and it will bring that mugshot to the front. Any other document security based on your roles will allow you to open and view disciplinary documents, court updates, or arrest paperwork if you have the rights to do so. This concludes our lesson on the jailing record. This is lesson 4 in a series of micro lessons for the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be looking at close observations and cell checks. From a jailing record, we will navigate to the cell checks tab. The cell checks tab allows for information to be shared about a close observation or watch for a specific inmate on a jailing record. It also gives us information about cell checks that have been conducted on that inmate. You may add a cell check on an inmate who has a close observation by hitting the plus sign on the end of the cell checks section. When the cell check box pops up, you can enter any information of observed behavior, any additional comments, as well as a reason why the cell check was not completed within an allotted time. Click on the picker next to observed behavior to show options that you may choose. You can choose multiple options as long as they fit the current behavior of the inmate on a close observation. Any relevant comments may be added at this time. The overdue reason gives you some options on how you can explain why a cell check was not completed within an allotted time. Each watch type or close observation has a designated time according to jail policy for the amount of time between checks. Hit save when completed. This adds the information to the cell check. Additionally, if you'd like to do multiple cell checks for different inmates, you can travel to the tools on the menu bar, then go to Jailings, View Cell Check Monitor at the main jail. Choose the appropriate cell block for the inmates that you are responsible for. The cell check monitor also gives an entire list of inmates in that cell block or pod. I have changed mine to sort by cell check due, so any checks that are required appear at the top of the cell check monitor. I also expand this to show 100 results per page. That way, every inmate in that housing location is viewable. In order to conduct a cell check from the cell check monitor, you go to the individual jailing record, hover over that area, and right-click. Select Add Cell Check, and then complete the items in the box as described in the previous section of training. This is lesson 5 in a series of micro lessons on the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be discussing the incidents section on a jailing record. Once on a jailing record, navigate to the Incidents tab on the top. The Incidents section allows us to keep track of any behavior or activities or incidents involving a particular inmate. For our example today, we will be adding a lockdown offense to an inmate on the jailing record. From the Incidents tab, in the top Incident section, go to the end of the line and hit the plus sign. This will open an Add Incident window. From the Add Incident window, complete all relevant information, including date, time, name of the person entering the incident, and then go down to the violation type. This is a picker that allows you to choose from a list of items. From this list of items, your selection here will narrow down the following field for the incident type. We're going to choose a lockdown for today. The incident type is then limited to only lockdown offenses based on the inmate handbook. Choose the location that the incident occurred. This should be the cell block or the pod where the incident occurred. PD and then a 2-digit pod number is a quick key for all of the locations in the main jail. If you hit tab after hitting PD 01, it'll give you pod 1. You may also choose the option from a picker. The comment field on an incident is reserved solely for a case number if one was created for this incident. You then click on the questionnaire where it says no. Answer one question: was a case completed on this incident? For our example today, one case was not cut. So I choose no and then continue. In order to issue discipline to an inmate, you must click on the inmate name and select the picker next to violations. Choose the appropriate description for the incident type and hit continue. Hit continue again will take you back to the main add incident window. This will now display a hammer or a gavel at the end of the line next to the inmate name, showing that this inmate is now eligible for discipline for this incident. If you need to add additional parties, you may do so by clicking the plus sign on the parties violations line. This brings up the connection type, party, and violations for the add party connection. For connection, choose inmate. Choose the magnifying glass at the end of the party line to search for another inmate. The search function here acts like when you are searching for a jailing record. You may type the entire name or use SoundX as well as wildcard options. Then hit search. You then choose the name by clicking on the appropriate jailing record. Again, choose the violation type so that discipline may be added. Hit continue and continue. You now have 2 inmates listed under parties and violations with a gavel at the end of each line showing that they are both eligible for discipline. At this time, you would put specific information in the evidence section contributing to the need for a lockdown for this incident. Hit save once you've completed any narrative information regarding the incident. You will now see that the offense is listed in the incident section. In order to complete further lockdown information, right-click on the line and choose Print Form. Then choose Lockdown. This will merge a form with additional lockdown information. It will ask a series of questions to complete the form to be submitted for supervisor approval. You may use T for today, type in a date, or select the calendar to choose the date when the lockdown will begin. And hit save. The second question, when does a lockdown end? It's a same window options. I will choose the following day and hit save. The length of the lockdown requested is a 1-day violation in this instance. Check the inmate handbook for relevant times. For lockdown approval, a supervisor approval is needed. Name the supervisor in this question line And in the next question, explain how they were notified. And hit save. Your lockdown request is created and is shown in document form. The last step to complete a lockdown is to go to the bottom right section and choose attach, so that this document is attached to this jailing record for supervisor review. This concludes our overview of the Incidents tab and requesting a lockdown. Today is lesson 6 in a series of micro lessons on the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be covering activity logs. From the menu bar, navigate to the Tools section, then to Jailings, Maintain Jail Activity Log. From the Maintain Jail Activity Log section, you can enter log information for your specific location. Click on the facility picker and choose the appropriate facility. We will do ours from the main jail. In order to add an entry into your log, you hit the plus sign on the right side of the screen. The activity type is a list of general entries to enter into the main jail activity log. Items listed with inmate at the beginning are specifically designed to be added to one individual jailing record. You may log visual rounds and physical rounds by selecting the item from the pick list. Choose your activity location by either using the picker or quick key codes, PD 01 or PD, and a 2-digit pod number will bring up the correct pod. Hit tab. If you need to add specific inmates to this record, you may do so by hitting the plus sign. But for general entries on the Maintain Jail Activity Log section, you do not need to do this. Any relevant information may be added to the log entry if they exist during that entry. Hit save. This will add that log entry to this location for quick review by supervisory staff or to detail any information that has occurred in the pod. Again, additional comments will appear if you enter those. You may also enter log information on a specific jailing record. I am going to navigate to a jailing record and then go to the Activity Log tab. Similarly to the Maintain Jail Activity Log for the main jail, you may enter an entry by hitting the plus sign, selecting the activity type, as well as the activity location, which should be the pod. You may also use the picker if you do not wish to use the quick key code. The inmate party information is shown in the party section. Enter any relevant information in the log entry field. And then hit save. This concludes our lesson on the activity log for the main jail activity log, as well as logging individual inmate actions. This is lesson 7 in a series of micro lessons for the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be talking about tracking. On the tracking tab of an inmate jailing, from a jailing record, navigate to the tracking tab. From the tracking tab, you can add movements of an individual inmate throughout the facility by hitting the plus sign on the far right to add a tracking instance. The tracking window pops up, automatically populating the date, time, and staff currently logged into the computer. The destination you choose from a drop-down, or you may use the quick key code if you know it. If you need to log additional information regarding the purpose behind the inmate going to that location, you may enter it in the free text field at the bottom of the window. Click Save when done with your entry. The inmate is now clocked out to the chapel. You can sort by reverse date to see the most recent items. In order to move the inmate back to his assigned cell, you may simply go to the inmate tracking line that is light blue and click In Cell. You will have to verify the information and click Save. This moves the inmate back to his assigned cell location. Hit Save when completed to finalize that record. This concludes our Lesson 7 on individual inmate tracking. This is Lesson 8 in a series of lessons on the new JMS software for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Today we'll be looking at jailing flags, party caution flags, and special condition. From a jailing record, you can see the jailing flags on the right-hand side. This shows the date that the flag was added, and if there's an end date, that is listed as well. But from the Detail tab, jailing flags may be added if you have the rights to do so. Jailing flags will appear grayed out if they are no longer active on the Detail tab. Additionally, any additional notes will be listed underneath the jailing flag heading. If you have the rights to add the jailing flag, there will be a plus sign at the end of the line. Additionally, at the top, the first icon, if you hover over it, will show the active jailing flags. Additionally, the orange flag will show party caution flags, and the green flag will display special conditions when you hover over it. A jailing flag will remain on a jailing record, but will not repopulate if the inmate is to leave custody and come back in. These items are for the jailing record for this instance only. By clicking on the inmate name, you travel to the party record. On the party record, go to the Additional tab, where you may see full caution flag information, which are flags that are added to a party record and will always be present until removed by staff. Special conditions, likewise, will be on the party record until removed by staff. Special conditions include mostly medical items entered by the clinic. This concludes our record of training on the jailing, party caution flags, and special conditions.